Hello YouTube, this is Lewis Trans, aka M25, aka Lewis JM. I'm gonna be talking to you about two different fatigues this month. The second fatigue would be coming in 2 weeks' time because of, well, my little schedule, but I want to talk about the first one, and this is by far the most important one. Now, we all enjoy superhero movies. I myself always like to watch all these superhero movies because it's far more entertaining, and trust me, any other movies other than that could get a little boring at times. Well, that and action, mostly. But regardless, lately, we've been going through what is a lot of people would call superhero fatigue, which is one too many superhero movies, not enough time to watch them all. When you think back to the years ago, we always get to see like 1, 2, 3 superhero movies a year, at the least, depending on its schedule. But lately, we've been getting more and more of these superhero movies every year. It's becoming much more frustrating. So, for example, 2023, last year. It was like, what, 9 superhero movies? All of them were subpar at best, with some of the better ones being that of the Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse film. Wow, the rest were were either difficult to watch, or people don't want to watch them entirely because of what they look like. Well, I understand that they want to put up these movies because they rarely released much during the pandemic. It does bring forth some serious drawbacks with the whole thing. Like, say, for example, during that pandemic, we had the streaming services, which, oh boy, well, when the streaming services were kicking, it was just people just watching classic movies. But when 2020 came around and COVID happened, a lot of people can't go anywhere, can't go to movie theaters, can't go to concerts, can't go to any place, and had to stay at home for a long time. I am one of those types of people that kind of got stuck at home watching nothing but professional wrestling in empty warehouses. Really, WWE did that. And AEW just do their stuff at an empty Daily's place in 2020, and you can imagine the cringe during the whole silence. Thankfully, I had like a YouTube video of crowd noises, but regardless, during that time, when people can't watch movies in movie theaters, they had to rely solely on streaming services as their only form of entertainment, which, to be honest, is better than just, say, sitting around doing absolutely nothing. So during that time, studios tend to slowly but surely release what's supposed to be movies that are supposed to be out in theaters out into the streaming services just for people to watch something new. At times, they work. At times, not. Superhero movies, while we're few in between, we still had to watch like the classic ones, be that of DC and Marvel. But then when, at the end of 2021, considering that they didn't have enough theaters, enough movies to release during those 2 years, they decided to release them en masse. And in the end, what we got is one too many superhero movies, not enough time to watch them all. And it's hard to tell which studio suffered the worst when it comes to these movies. I mean, DC, yes, they were the worst. Well, they released some movies that were successful, such as Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, even the second Suicide Squad movie. The the rest of the movies were bad at best and abysmal at worst. I mean, Wonder Woman 1984 was tough to watch because of how messed up the plot is, and you can't follow what the story's about. Seriously, guy wishes to become the embodiment of a wishing stone instead of say, oh, I don't know, being the richest oil tycoon. Why think that? But then, of course, you have The Flash that came out in the summer 2023, and despite the warning signs, despite its terrible history, they released it out anyways, just so they can have, like, what? Kill off the entire old DC Cinematic Universe that Snyder did before he left? And that's the thing. DC and Warner Brothers realized that Wonder Woman 84 was so bad that they had to cave in to the fans and release the Snyder version of the Justice League, which oh, I wish people didn't just demand the Snyderverse, because at least the one they edited out had a much better feel than that mess. And you can wonder how well that went for them. Regardless, The Flash was pretty much the sticking point, considering that that's where they decided to do an immediate restart and have Jeff Gunn, the person that was behind the 3 Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy films, to be in charge of it, to have a bit of a refresh. Which, I guess it's okay, but it's pretty much too little too late, considering Marvel beat them to the punch long before DC decided on doing a cinematic universe. Speaking of DC, you might be wondering, well, DC fared better than that of... Well, Marvel fared better than that of DC, right? Wrong. Because Marvel was going through the same thing DC is going through. At least they didn't have any terrible movies, with exception of one film that involves a certain Ant-Man. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So, regardless, Marvel became one of the biggest superhero series out there. With its films, it got us pumped to see more and more and more of it, to see the big baddie Thanos. And believe it or not, everything was delivered properly. From Infinity Wars to Endgame, it became obvious that a lot of people enjoyed that series as a whole, especially how it all ended, all wrapped up in a nice big bowl. But after Endgame, Marvel seems to be struggling on what to do with their 4th phase, 5th phase. I really don't know what phase they are in right now, as it's hard to see what this next chapter's about. Granted, they had some good movies. Best movies such as the 2 Spider-Mans, the 3rd Guardians of the Galaxy, Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, just to name a few, but others, whew, they were difficult to manage. Certain films were okay, certain films should have worked better, but regardless, it was a chore to watch. Not only that, but you have to watch all of the Marvel miniseries that is out on Disney+. I was one of those people, because I had to watch WandaVision first before I had to watch Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And then the first season of Loki, just to see Thor Love and Thunder, to see if there's any connection between the two, which sadly not so much. And now if I'm going to see the Marvels, I have to watch... While I did watch WandaVision, I still have to watch Secret Invasion and Miss Marvel. And then and then I might have to watch the 2 seasons of Loki just to see Quantumania. And oh my god, combine that with the fact that all of the Netflix original Marvel series, those elongated series that was part of Netflix before it was moved to Disney Plus, I might have to watch those as well because of the Vision movie Vision miniseries that's coming out. It's all pretty much a major mess that I have to go and watch. And not to mention, we don't have much of a big baddie to help bring this story together. I mean, I'm sure they had Kang for their big baddie. They teased him in the end of this first season of Loki and gave him his own movie in Quantumania. But considering how bad guys are being portrayed nowadays with Marvel, yeah, it's not that good. Especially considering that the actor playing Kang just got either got fired or quit or I don't know what. And so who else would be the biggest bad guy or bad guys for the Avengers to face? The Sentinels? I mean, sure, they were in the Eternals. They had cameos before and after Endgame, but you rarely see them do much in any of the films, just being all threatening and menacing and calculating, but never have any physical action with anyone. As far as I'm concerned, we're dealing with one C or D list villain after the next, and we don't know where this is going to lead. At the time of recording, there's no telling what both DC and Marvel are planning to do, especially considering after the whole Writers and Actors Guild strikes, we might be getting a bit of a break from the films. The only film that I can recall would be that of Deadpool with Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine, considering, well, the fact that he did his own swan song in Logan. Don't know why they've had to bring him back. But regardless, I feel that we're going through with more superhero fatigue than we originally intended. And even if we do have a bit of a break in 2024, there's no telling how many movies are going to come out in 2025. I mean, I for one want to see the new Captain America movie, even though I have to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because Seth freaking Rollins is going to be in that film as one of the villains. But until then, we might have to accept what it is and mention and agree that superhero fatigue is real, but not as real as another fatigue I'm going through right now. I will explain about that one in the next 2 weeks. But until then, name's Louis Anatrans, aka L25, aka Louis JM. Hope you enjoyed this little rant, blog, whatever it is. Leave a comment and like below. Stay tuned for more videos and see you all next time. #RoTheGoodCartoons.